Hey, what's going on guys, Aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video today. Before we get into things though, got a really exciting giveaway to announce to you guys in conjunction with the guys over at IGP Manager who've actually sponsored this video. So IGP Manager, some of you guys might be actually familiar with that name. They're a web-based F1 manager game that actually also has a companion app on the phone, so you can be playing your game save on the PC and then you can play the exact same game save on the go on your phone whilst you commute to work or school or whatever. But IGP Manager have got a brand new 2018 car and visual overhaul for the car. It's coming soon with the coming weeks, and along with that they got new tracks coming, including a revised modern layout for the British Grand Prix. And once they've added the new tracks, they're also creating the ability for you to make your own custom calendar for leagues you might want to run on IGP Manager. And the guys at IGP Manager have currently chosen my channel to be the kind of exclusive reveal for all this content, so the screenshots and the video you're seeing at the moment have never been seen before. The new 2018 car, and I think you'll agree, it looks pretty damn sweet. And to celebrate the launch in conjunction with myself, we're going to be doing a giveaway for a 2018 Apple iPad. So the competition for this giveaway is pretty simple. All you have to do is go click the link down below in the description to IGP Manager and get signed up, or you could even be an existing player already, but basically get signed up with an account, and then you have to go out and then win at least one race on IGP Manager during the competition period, which is going to be the next 2 weeks. At the moment, the competition is going to be open from the minute I post this video, so as you're watching this, the competition is open and it's going to close in 2 weeks time on the weekend of the Canadian Grand Prix, when I post another video which will have an intro to wrap up and announce the winner. The winner is going to be selected at random from all the eligible participants. So that's anyone who's gone out there and won a race on IGP Manager. And the only other rule is on account limits. New users can only create one account, and existing users can't create a new one. They have to use the one they already have. So again, all you have to do to enter the competition for the 2018 Apple iPad is to click the link down below, and from that link go create an account, or you could have one already, and simply go out there and win one race in IGP Manager. So that's the competition. Be sure to click that link and get involved, and thank you very much to the guys over at IGP Manager for sponsoring this video. And so with that, let's move on to the normal video. Right, so here we are then at the Hungarian Grand Prix for episode number 10 of my F1 2018 mod career mode here with Fernando Alonso and his McLaren Renault. It's technically obviously round number 12 for the Hungarian Grand Prix, as obviously with the mod, like I explained in previous episodes, we can't do the French and German Grand Prix, so we're skipping ahead to the Hungarian Grand Prix, where normally round 11 would have been the German Grand Prix in real life. But anyway, here we are at the Hungaroring. Should be a good one for McLaren as a whole. You'd like to think McLaren historically has done quite well at the Hungarian Grand Prix, especially with the Honda engine in the past. Has been one of the best places, along with Monaco, to score points for them. So hopefully we can do the same and try and take Fernando up as far as we can. But before we get into that, obviously, let's go to the full starting grid and see how it lines up. So pole position in this 2018 mod career mode seems to be a straight shootout always between Sebastian Vettel and Lewis Hamilton trading that top spot, and this time around it goes to the German in red in first place. Sebastian Vettel locking out the front row with his teammate Kimi Räikkönen in second place there. The Scuderia looking very strong around the Hungaroring, as they have done many times in the past. Second row, it's all Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton in third place ahead of his teammate Valtteri Bottas. He'll be looking to try and build on the championship lead, obviously from third place if he can in the race. The third row is all Red Bull. Daniel Ricciardo in P5, Max Verstappen in P6. Once again, the Australian gets the better of his younger Dutch teammate there in P5 ahead of him. And then the next row is all Renault, actually, and that's going to be the end of the Noah's Ark lineup, thankfully, with Nico Hülkenberg in 7th place and Carlos Sainz once again matching his teammate a lot better in qualifying in P8. Then is P9 ourselves, as Fernando Alonso doing decently to get into the top 10, so hopefully, as I said earlier, that does translate into some good points, alongside Romain Grosjean in P10 to round out the top 10. Then his teammate Kevin Magnussen in P11, and our teammate Stoffel Van Dorn in P12. That does decent enough, so it might be a scrap between the Haas, McLaren and Renaults this afternoon around the Hungaroring. The next row then is all Force India. Sergio Perez down to his usual P13 slot. He's been doing a lot better lately though, and then his teammate Esteban Ocon in P14 alongside him. Then, surprisingly, the Russian is Sergei Sorokin in P15 to outqualify his teammate, and also both Toro Rosso cars, P16 Brendan Hartley and P17 Pierre Gasly, who is alongside a familiar name Charles Leclerc in P18 in that Sauber Alfa Romeo, ahead of his teammate Marcus Ericsson, and then surprise, surprise, Lance Stroll in last place, P20, to round out the grid for the Hungarian Grand Prix. So looking ahead to the race strategy then, the default is a one-stop there, but the two-stop you can actually see mathematically, time-wise, is actually shorter as well, which is surprising because a lot of the time the two-stop mathematically isn't actually the fastest strategy, and it's kind of more of a case of, in real terms, it's going to be the faster way to go. Obviously, we had a bit of an issue with the two-stop not being the way to go at the British Grand Prix last episode. If you did miss that, by the way, guys, be sure to go check that one out before you see the rest of this one. But I think here, very clearly, even the computer can see that the two-stop's going to be faster, and I think think with the higher tyre wear, definitely around here at Hungary, where the tyre wear is going to be even higher than Silverstone, I think the 2-stop will be worth it and will be the way to go. You lose less time anyway in the pits around the Hungaroring. Definitely, I think, was probably a bit of a mistake around Silverstone. So we're going to go for that 2-stop, going for a bit more fuel as per usual to try and burn off, and obviously the burn is quite high in this 2018 mod, so trying to counteract for that. But here we go then to 5 red lights for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Round number 12 of the 2018 season is underway from P9 on the grid. It's a great start compared to the 2 Renaults there, and also the Red Bull, especially of Max Verstappen, with a very slow start. It's 3 wide up ahead between Daniel Ricciardo and the 2 Mercedes cars, and the 2 Ferraris fight into turn 1 as well. Vettel v Raikkonen, Ricciardo v the 2 Mercs. Bottas being pushed wide. We've gone around the outside of both Renaults and Verstappen, more crucially down the inside to the next left-hander. Sainz on the right-hand side though, having a bit of a peek there, and he is on the inside. He's got the nose in, so we have to lift off to give him some room, and he's got it down the inside there. So on lap 1, taking it a little bit easy, don't want to make contact with any car, and Sainz takes advantage of that, and he's up into P6, but we're up into P7, so you know, even so, that's a good start for us. At the moment it looks like it's a 1-2 for Ferrari. Then you got Daniel Ricciardo and then the 2 Mercedes cars, so the 2 Ferraris looking pretty damn strong around here, but very surprised that Verstappen got such a poor exit off his starting grid slot. And yeah, it's pretty much at the moment stuck behind us, and we're stuck behind Sainz. You can see into turn 1 then of lap number 5, finding it tricky to get past our fellow compatriot Carlos Sainz. Obviously, as we're driving as Fernando Alonso, he does a good job to block us into turn 1, and I just can't find the straight line speed straight away at the moment to overtake him. Of course, in real life, that's a real issue McLaren have as well, with the real life 2018 car being a bit too draggy compared to the other midfield runners, and it seems like that's the same thing that's been replicated in the 2018 mod here in the game, as it's lap 6 and we're still unable to get past Carlos Sainz into turn 1. You can see a few lockups now happening as the tyre wear starts to kick in, and there's quite a bit of a gap ahead of Carlos Sainz, so he's definitely doing a good job at holding me and Verstappen up and kind of hindering our race here. I think we'd have a much better pace at the moment in this Grand Prix, and we'd be a lot closer to the Mercs if it wasn't for Carlos Sainz. So I need to desperately try and get this move done. Now we're on lap 7, so maybe a lucky number for me in the past, so hopefully we can maybe try and get this done by the end of this lap. Maybe we're closing up in sector 3 now, and Verstappen doing the same, so we really need to hopefully get this done this next lap on this straight. We're as close as we've ever have been. You can see right up the gearbox of Sainz now through the second last corner, through to the last. We just need to make sure we get the best entry possible, just floating the car in 4th gear, just really riding the throttle and then planting the power now, opening DRS, rich mix also flowing. And so here we go on to lap 8. Looks like we're going to have the best chance possible now. We're gaining and gaining. We're on the right hand side. We dart to the inside, dive down the inside. Sainz has a lock up there on the left hand side of your screen, you can see on the replay camera, and we're up into P6 now, thankfully. And Verstappen looks like he's also got past there, so Sainz's lockup was pretty damn bad, enough for him to lose 2 spots in 1 corner. So I kind of almost feel a little bit bad for him, but obviously he did hold us up for pretty much 7-8 laps there, so I'm not too sorry. But now Max Verstappen is trying to make a move on us, trying to make up for the poor start he had. We're defending, he's on the inside, he locks up, but we get a really nice swooping line on the outside there, and you know, pinching Verstappen to the inside definitely helped us in terms of we slowed him down and the momentum he was carrying into turn 1, and so we stay up in P6. We can see a big old gap now to Valtteri Bottas, and actually the fight may not be over as Verstappen has the downforce there. We've not had the best entry and exit next right-hander, and Verstappen now on the outside of us on that blind crest up the hill, and the further climb of the hill to the end of sector 2 is going to be quite hard, because Verstappen now is on the inside. He's got the better line, but we're going to try and get as high as we can into that brake zone there, and we're up into P6, and we got that back, but essentially, and re-overtook him momentarily. He was ahead of us, and now Verstappen has to contend with Carlos Sainz. Looks like he defends from the Spaniard successfully there, but you can see on the heads-up display now on the right-hand side, the tyres going off quite badly, so it's time to come in. Lap 9 is the scheduled pit stop window here, the start of the window, so we will come in now, as I think the undercut could be pretty good around the Hungarian Grand Prix, but you can see it's such a big gap then to Bottas, so we're going to have to hope the undercut can work, and then hopefully we have some decent pace on the soft tyres. And in clean air, like I said, I think we have much better potential. I think that gap is only that big due to Sainz, so I am quite confident we could catch Bottas later on in this Grand Prix if our times are consistent enough and we don't hit traffic, hopefully. So we'll see how we come out. I think we should be in clean air right now. It'll be a question of if we hit traffic later on down the line whilst we're catching cars, because there may be a decent amount of people actually trying that 1-stop, even though mathematically on the time window, on the delta time, the 2-stop did actually seem to be mathematically definitely shorter, as well as, in theory, you know, pushing harder on softer tyres, we should be able to get our further up the road. And so we are in clean air in P17. We do close up on Esman Ocon then eventually later on for P11 this will be. We're in P12 at the moment, but he's on super softs, and he's been on those from the start of the Grand Prix, I believe. So you can see he's gone all the way to lap 13. So he is clearly one of the few trying the one stop here. He goes defensive to the inside. Remember, this is 4th position. He's not, you know, obliged to give us the position. So a bit annoying at the moment. He's losing us quite a bit of time here. We're talking about a good half second here. I think he's kind of holding us up through, and he's still remaining on the track. I thought for a second there he was going to come in for a pit stop, and so now, no, he's not. I'm going to have to try and overtake him on track now. That may be more easier said than done, because obviously the Mercedes engine is pretty damn good. But here we go on the outside. Then he goes defensive to the middle of the circuit, but brake a bit later than he does round the outside, and we are up the position into P8 now. And you can see P7 up the road is Valtteri Bottas. But we have definitely gained a bit on Bottas, because we've definitely gotten away from Sainz, Hülkenberg, Verstappen with that undercut. So we did definitely gain on that. Meanwhile, it's a 1-2 for Ferrari at the moment. Sebastian Vettel to Kimi Raikkonen. Then you've got Lewis Hamilton in P3, followed by Daniel Ricciardo in P4. So Hamilton's also another driver that has gained quite a bit there with the undercut. So not only did I do some good stuff there with the pit stop window, Hamilton has as well. And so now he can try and chase after the Ferrari guys. Meanwhile, in P5 there, you can see briefly there was Valtteri Bottas. And speaking about the Finn, we're now all the way on lap 22. So quite a bit of laps taken out of the highlights of this Grand Prix, but not much was happening apart from me just pushing like an absolute stabbed rat. And we have closed up to Bottas now as we enter turn 1 of lap 23, locking up though, and just like we had with Carlos Sainz, being held up a little bit by the Finn. And compared to Carlos Sainz, Bottas may have a much easier time trying to defend from us, because obviously the difference is he has a Mercedes engine in the back, and also he's in the Mercedes car, so you would like to think it's going to be the superior car, but he does appear to be struggling with a lot of tyre wear here. So now we're on the end of lap 23 into sector 3, and just like we did against Carlos Sainz, we're pretty much pushing him through the second last corner. A little bit of a lock up to not hit the back of him, but you can see there's a lapped car up ahead of, I think I want to say that's Marcus Ericsson in the Sauber Alfa Romeo. So let's try and see. Hopefully, fingers crossed, Ericsson could try and hold him up. You know, in the past, maybe didn't like to see Ericsson ahead of us, but, you know, if he can do us a solid here, he could help us out. Into turn 1, doesn't look like it as Bottas makes some contact with the Swede. We're around the outside, and yeah, he pretty much did not help us. I think if anything, he kind of hindered us there, because Bottas, although he made contact with him, we kind of had to lift off a little bit more to try and go around the outside of him. So not great stuff there, but we're going to box this lap then, and we're going to try the undercut, because I don't know if Bottas is going to come in this lap. If he doesn't, then, you know, we can try the undercut. If he does, then we're just simply covering him off there. So we'll see how that goes. But either way, though, on the climb up the hill, we are gaining on him. So into the chicane, try and break as late as we can and ride the curb to try and close up a little bit more. We've got yellow flags up ahead, then there's a dot on the mini-map. Bottas goes wide, and the Toro Rosso sideways, and we made contact with both cars there. That is so lucky, though. I did not make any major collision with that Toro Rosso. That could have been a nasty T-bone collision. And Bottas, he went wide, and then he almost dangerously squeezed me actually into the Toro Rosso's rear end, like almost like he had a death wish for me. So very close stuff, but thankfully no bit of our front wings lopped off. And like I said, we are going to come in anyway. Beside any of that action, that doesn't really affect my decision here. Just the fact that the tyres are definitely going off here. On lap 24, it is my scheduled pit stop as well. Looks like Bottas going a little bit longer then. Hamilton already then ahead of us in the pit lane on a set of super soft tyres. So obviously Hamilton getting the preferential treatment, being the first car on the road for Mercedes. So that kind of explains why Bottas isn't going to come in this lap. So thank you, Hamilton, in a way, because that will help us out, because the undercut clearly is very powerful here, especially with the 2018 mod. The high tyre wear, it definitely is going to play a big factor. So I think we could be able to jump him completely, because thinking about the time we gained on Sainz and Verstappen, you know, we didn't even see the Spaniard or the Dutchman at all once we made our pit stop. So I think this could be quite a hefty jump ahead of Valtteri Bottas, and so that will be a really decent strategy. So like I said very much earlier on in the Grand Prix, I was confident of our pace. We could catch at least Valtteri Bottas. I think Hamilton and the other guys, Ricciardo, the two Ferraris, they're a bit too far ahead. But Bottas, he was held up in a bit of traffic. He was lagging a little bit behind with Hamilton and definitely hit some bad tyre wear compared to his teammate. I was confident we could catch him, because I definitely did have the pace. It was the fact that Sainz was holding us up. And so here we go. Here's the kind of fruits of our labour. And we're now ahead of Bottas, because on that lap there, you saw we got ahead of him on the pit stop jump. And meanwhile, at the moment in first place was Raikkonen, but it's now going to be this man, Daniel Ricciardo, the Australian, in the Red Bull car. He's on medium tyres. The Ferrari there of Raikkonen was on soft tyres. He's now going onto a set of super softs, and Vettel has already made his pit stop onto a set of super soft tyres. So both Ferrari cars doing the exact same strategy that I am doing. So kind of confirms it's going to be a good strategy. Obviously, though, Red Bull trying something a little bit different because they don't have maybe the 100% pace to maybe win this Grand Prix. So they're going to try it with Daniel Ricciardo with this method, because Vettel's now in second place. Raikkonen comes out in third, just ahead of this man Lewis Hamilton on that set of super soft tyres in P4 there. But now later on to the Grand Prix, bad news for Ricciardo. So like I said, it was a good stab by Red Bull to try it, but I think it's going to be inevitable for the German to come up and get this race lead, because we got traffic as well, and with plenty of laps to go, Vettel is right up the chuff of Daniel Ricciardo into turn one. A lot of chaos at the moment with blue flags and two other cars to contend with here, but Vettel and Ricciardo so far keeping their cool. No lockups from either of them, but Vettel's still chasing on hard with the DRS wide open. A lockup now from the Australian. There you go, bit of pressure there for the young Aussie man, and so can Vettel put him under pressure to make this overtake soon enough. Doesn't look it quite yet, with Ricciardo still leading the way then as they go up the crest into the heart of Sector 2, but towards the end of Sector 2 into Sector 3, Vettel may have other ideas. He's going to line up some slipstream, and he's going to make a huge dive from back there. What a move this would be for the race lead. Vettel on the inside, they're still side by side, but look at that, Vettel with a bit of a bump there on the right hand side, and kind of forcefully pushes Ricciardo wide, because Ricciardo's obviously got a lot of tyre wear now on those medium tyres, and Vettel is into the lead of the Grand Prix. What an overtake there for the lead. Great stuff there from so far back. Kind of almost looked like a player was doing that brake zone there from Vettel. And now, meanwhile, for us in our world, on lap 32, we're just simply making an overtake on a blue flag car of the Williams, and we're still in P5. Bit of no man's land, really, as Hamilton is too far away from us. Nowhere to be seen on the minimap, but we're just, keeping consistent, and Bottas at the moment keeping us honest. So we're just trying to do the job to, keep that and secure that position. Meanwhile, now for P4 in this Grand Prix, there may be a bit of a change as Lewis Hamilton right up behind Kimi Raikkonen with a lock up there. So is the Finn got some issues in that car, or maybe that's just some pressure and tyre wear kicking in? I'm not too sure at the moment, but it's going to be Hamilton right up his gearbox with that pressure in the final lap of the Grand Prix. This is on lap 35. Lap car up ahead as well. Let's see, Hamilton now looks like he has good momentum. He's going to try and make a move around the outside of the Finn, and it's going to be Hamilton with a fantastic overtake. Bit of contact made though, and Raikkonen, is he lost the back end? No, he's not. He's held the car, so it's not a complete race over for Kimi, but he's going to be down to P4, and Hamilton with a fantastic overtake on the last lap of the Grand Prix for P3. That's pretty important, remember, because it's Vettel v Hamilton at the moment in the championship standing, so that's very important for Hamilton to get that extra 3 points of P3 compared to P4 there, ahead of Kimi Raikkonen. Meanwhile, though, P5 for us is Fernando Alonso, 10 points in the bag. I would say a very solid race here at the Hungarian Grand Prix for us, and that will allow us to remain ahead of Max Verstappen, I think, because obviously Verstappen was behind us anyway, as well as Nico Hülkenberg, who made a really late charge there, I think, to get ahead of Verstappen, just behind Bottas in the race order. But there you go, Sebastian Vettel wins the Hungarian Grand Prix. Fantastic race for him, and amazing overtake for the race lead. But fair play to Daniel Ricciardo. Got to give him props. That one stop with Red Bull to get second place. He's the only man in the kind of top 6, top 7 really to make a one stop work very well. So fair play, fair dues. I think what would have been for Max Verstappen, if he had the kind of pace to make that happen. But obviously in the first stint he just got held up behind me and Sainz. So it's kind of luck of the draw there. But Sebastian Vettel getting that win does make things closer now in the Drivers' Championship. Still Hamilton that leads the way by 153 points to 146. But you can see the German does close that up. So really awesome fight this is. Back and forth momentum swings between Hamilton and Vettel. Ricciardo now up into P3 ahead of Bottas. So Bottas, after getting that race win at Canada, just hasn't been very consistent there. So he's down to P4, but it's all the same then in the running order from P5 down there in the championship. For the constructors though, nothing really changes there as well in terms of the order wise, but points wise it is getting a little bit closer, with Ferrari closing that gap to Mercedes 277 to 268. So still a fight there on for 1 and 2 of the constructors fight. And also us and McLaren, we're doing a decent enough job to stay ahead of the midfield battle. We're trying our best to maybe try and catch Red Bull. We're gonna need a bit more good luck for us, and a bit more bad luck for the Red Bulls if we're going to make that happen though. But all in all, really decent episode. Like I said, one of the best places to try and get good points for McLaren, and we did just that. I think that was probably the maximum we could have hoped for. So guys, if you did enjoy that episode, smash that up button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you're new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.